It's been a very long day, and I think I've had my fill of idiots in armored suits telling me what to do, so if you don't mind, this is actually your last chance. Now get out of my way.
This is what we call real Marvel. Oh, I mean marvelous! As the Marvel Cinematic Universe MCU expanded into television, it faced criticism for failing to capture the same magic as its films. Many fans deemed the shows rushed and little more than attempts to drive subscriptions for Disney+. However, Loki stands out, boasting a 92% critic score and a 90% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. What makes this series resonate so strongly? Why does Loki succeed while other series falter? Was it luck, or did Marvel create something special? Let's examine why Loki works. The MCU's shift to Disney+ allowed for bolder storytelling and character exploration without the constraints of film budgets. When Loki was announced, fans were uncertain if Tom Hiddleston's character could carry a series. Those doubts were unfounded. Loki has become the best MCU show so far. Its renewal for a second season, alongside What If, highlights its success. This is not the result of a single feature of a movie, but rather because of the appealing and consistent storytelling coupled with well-built characters and an electrifying climax that lays foundation for the upcoming films of MCU. Nevertheless, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier failed to do so to the depth. While both shows aim to explore their characters, Loki provided a richer experience, whereas Falcon faced challenges in connecting with its audience.
I am Loki of Asgard, and I am burdened with glorious purpose.
The glorious path. Glorious.
From the start, Loki hits the mark by focusing on a fan-favorite character. Sure, the Falcon introduces a crucial storyline, but it's missing the complexity and emotional depth that Loki brings to the table. Loki, unlike Sam Wilson, has been a central figure in the MCU from early on, appearing across multiple films, including the Avengers saga. His presence is well established, which means fans were already deeply invested in him before the Disney+ series aired. That history gave Loki a head start. Fans knew him, his flaws, and the layers of his character.
I'm bringing the party to you.
Falcon, status?
Sam Wilson, on the other hand, is a strong supporting character who is tied to Captain America's journey. While his arc is important as it deals with accepting the mantle of Captain America, it feels more like a straightforward narrative. A hero rising to a symbolic role, facing external struggles like societal expectations and grappling with legacy. His internal conflict, while significant, lacks the personal emotional messiness that makes Loki so gripping. Loki is very much about the trickster god, and it's at its best when it's dealing with Loki's duality and confusion. Loki has always been a character of deceitfulness, envy, and ambition for control and acceptance throughout the whole MCU. We see him go from a full-fledged villain driven by manipulation and chaos to a character deeply reflective of his past actions. Loki, the series for Disney+, is a character study of who he is deep down. The focus is heavily placed on the value of his bond with Thor, his past adoption issues, and his repentance arc. Falcon's journey can also be significant, but it is far more linear and therefore less complex than some of the other characters' arcs. Sam Wilson's battle is about accepting the responsibility of becoming Captain America, particularly as a black man stepping into such a symbolic role. It's about legacy, duty, and facing societal expectations. But where Loki thrives on deep personal turmoil and unpredictable character shifts, Falcon's arc is more predictable, following a classic hero's journey with less of the internal chaos that Loki wrestles with.
Know this. You cross me, there are deadly consequences.
Loki's unpredictability is what keeps fans hooked. His arc is a roller coaster of emotions. One minute he's the villain, the next he's sacrificing himself for others. Every twist feels earned because his character is always evolving. Sam's story, however, feels more organized. He knows what he has to do, and the show is about him stepping up to it. Loki's constant struggle with being overshadowed by Thor and the eventual realization that his quest for power only brings more pain make his journey toward redemption much more compelling. While Sam's story about race and legacy is essential, it doesn't dive as deep into the emotional complexities that Loki's story does.
How do you plead?
Madam, a god doesn't plead.
Absolutely not. This is fine Asgardian leather.
Safe from stupid fluff and serious, meaningful messages, it lays comfortably in between those two extremes. In contrast, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier grounds itself so heavily in reality that it often feels dark, dire, and distant. Meanwhile, something like She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, leans too far into silliness and makes it hard for viewers to invest in the stakes of the story. Loki strikes the right tone between comedy and drama and ambition, without making it too blatant to be entertaining while still having substance to it. Visually, the show is stunning, rooted in retro futuristic design, from the quirky Miss Minutes to the Time Variance Authority's analog aesthetic. This nostalgia-driven style resonated with audiences. It helped create a different dynamic for Loki and the show itself as compared to the other MCU projects. WandaVision tried a similar retro approach but never fully committed. Loki's character development is leagues beyond. In Avengers Infinity War, Loki shocks fans with his ultimate sacrifice, a once power-hungry god giving up his life for others.
Look, this has been a very enjoyable pantomime, but I'd like to go home now.
Now, hang on just a minute.
The Loki series takes this even further, throwing him into a vortex of self-reflection. The Disney Plus series dives deep into his psyche, pushing him to reckon with the chaos he's caused. His journey turns to the scale of the anti-heroic, an unstable, filled with ethical dilemmas fight. At the end, we do not have the entity known as the trickster Loki, we have the character who wants to evolve. On the other hand, Sam Wilson's journey revolves around accepting the responsibility of becoming the next Captain America, an iconic role with societal expectations attached, especially as a black man stepping into such a symbol. It is a significant story, but not as unbalanced emotionally as the narrative of Loki is. One of the standout features of Loki is how it introduces the multiverse in a creative, engaging way. While Spider-Man No Way Home nailed the nostalgic element of bringing past heroes and villains together, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness faltered in its exploration, Loki struck gold by showing us various timelines and variants. This commitment made the concept of multiverse to become more real and appealing. One of the most consistent criticisms of Marvel's Disney Plus shows is their tendency to exist primarily as setups for future films rather than standalone stories. Shows like WandaVision and The Falcon and The Winter Soldier often start strong, but eventually become launching pads for upcoming movies. It leaves fans feeling like they're watching extended trailers rather than complete narratives. Loki, however, manages to transcend that trap. Take WandaVision, for instance. It begins with a fascinating, self-contained story that delves into Wanda's grief and trauma. But by the final 2 episodes, the focus shifts away from Wanda's emotional journey and turns into a teaser for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Any emotional connection to the characters is overshadowed by the need to position Wanda as the Scarlet Witch for future films. Like with Ms. Marvel, it starts with a focus on getting to know Kamala Khan and her life, but towards the end, the focus shifts more on what the Marvel story will be.
He's not hitting the police.
Then there's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which suffers the most from this issue. The show essentially exists to pass the Captain America mantle to Sam Wilson. While this is a significant moment, the show also crams in new characters like US Agent and Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, both of whom are clearly there to set up future MCU projects like Thunderbolts. The show's central story feels more like a vehicle for what's next, rather than an exploration of Sam's personal journey.
Are you guilty or not guilty, sir?
Guilty of being the god of mischief, yes.
I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.
Guilty of finding all this incredibly tedious, yes.
You're coming with us.
I'm sorry, who's us?
Guilty of a crime against the sacred timeline. Absolutely not. You have the wrong person.
Loki, on the other hand, manages to strike a delicate balance between expanding the MCU and telling a compelling standalone story. Yes, the series introduces Kang, or at least a version of him, and yes, it plays a crucial role in setting up future films like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, but the show never feels like it's rushing to connect dots. Instead, they wisely focus on the development of the Loki character, which looks quite mysterious and personal for the viewer. In Loki, we see him question the very nature of free will and destiny, wrestling with whether he can change his fate or if he's forever bound to his role as a villain. His decisions are layered with personal stakes that go beyond the MCU's larger narrative. Loki's transformation from villain to anti-hero is unpredictable, messy, and ultimately human. Loki's story is packed with moral ambiguity. Should he accept his true nature as a frost giant? Should he continue his pursuit of power, or finally seek redemption? These questions keep his arc unpredictable and full of surprises.
It's been a very long day, and I think I've had my fill of idiots in armored suits telling me what to do.
Over the course of multiple films and now his own series, we've seen Loki grow, struggle, and rise again. He's not just driven by a sense of duty like Sam, but by a need to understand who he is and where he fits in the grand scheme of things. This fan base has had years to give their support and to follow this man's transition, which makes it all the more rewarding. While the series undoubtedly sets the stage for future MCU projects, it also delivers a fully fleshed out narrative that stands on its own. Loki exists to set up the next big movie and tells a story that's as captivating as it is self-contained. What are your thoughts? Does Loki stand out as the best Disney Plus Marvel series so far? Drop your opinion in the comments, and if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated.